Cancer. We all sort of worry about it, fear it. My mother died of skin cancer. I think everyone knows someone in their family, or they know someone who's died of cancer. The relationship with what we eat and cancer, can you educate us on that?
Yes. If we look at the World Health Organization statistics, we find that 35% of all cancer is considered to be most directly related to food mistakes. And that makes it quite dramatic because 30% is given to cigarettes. That's number 2. So for those of us who don't smoke, it becomes especially a big factor because all other factors are below 10%. So those two stand out according to their studies.
So if we didn't smoke and we ate well, we take away what 65% of cancer.
That's right. And we see in the course of the 20th century, food did become more and more a factor in cancer, the whole lifestyle. If we go back 100 years ago, cancer was an extremely rare disease. And this is sometimes explained away as, well, they didn't live so long in those days. Today, people live longer and they get cancer. But that's really a silly argument because we can look at an age group, say people under 40 years old, and today there's much more cancer in young people. In fact, the cancer rate is growing at a rate of about 1% per year. So this is definitely not just the people living older, or getting older, living longer. There are a couple of things about cancer. First of all, I've seen people beat cancer who are given up as hopeless cases by conventional medicine. I know it does work. I worked in a cancer clinic in Germany for several years and watched several people really make a big impact on their health, and some people actually beat the disease. To understand it, we need to know that the immune system is the whole story. Your immune system is constantly patrolling your body looking for such threats. And if the immune system is strong, cancer has no chance. The average person today in the modern society every day experiences, without knowing it, the malignant mutation of 7 cells. 7 cells in our bodies become cancer cells every day. But an immune system will destroy those cells because it takes a cancer cell about 3 months to double. So they're not fast growing. And there's plenty of time to kill them. But if I'm taking cortisone, medication for my asthma, then I've got a problem because cortisone works by smashing the immune system. You have the inflammation from the immune activity, so the conventional medical approach is to flatten the immune system so there can be no inflammation. But the side effect is cancer. It's a small side effect, but still worth mentioning. So you know, it's not really a smart way to go about the issue. So we can look at some of the really interesting things that have happened down the years. I think the most interesting work of all was by Otto Warburg in Germany, who in 1923 and 1931 received the Nobel Prize in Medicine for his work with cancer. And he basically solved the cancer issue. That's why I would never donate to a cancer fund, because there's basically a self-perpetuating cancer research industry that just wants to continue researching this forever and living from our donations. But he showed that, number one, cancer cells survive by fermenting sugar. And it's not a very effective way of getting energy, and that's why cancer patients tend to wither away, because they're not really getting much out of their nourishment. And secondly, he showed that cancer cells thrive in an anaerobic atmosphere, which is an oxygen-free atmosphere. So keeping the body well oxygenated makes it difficult for cancer cells to thrive. Now, if your body tissues are in an acid state, an acidic state I should say, and an acidic state, as Warburg pointed out, then cancer cells have that optimal anaerobic environment. But an alkaline environment is much more oxygen prone. So this means keeping yourself alkaline and not eating sugar, already two very concrete things we can do. Most people think cancer is a genetic illness, but research has shown that it's less than 5%. So it's really a very small factor. However, most of the attention about working with cancer goes to searching for the elusive cancer gene.
Or the miracle drug.
Yeah, that's right. So there's just so much money and politics in the whole thing. In fact, Dr. Samuel Epstein wrote a very good book called The Politics of Cancer, which tells about some of these things like the environmental pollution in general, not just with food, but all the chemicals in our environment, and shows that there is a big political dimension to cancer. So eating good food, the whole grains, vegetables, especially pickled vegetables. It's been found that pickled vegetables have a very strong effect in slowing down cancer. So many things we can do. Enzyme-rich food, that's also the pickles. I'm not talking about vinegar pickles, but really fermented foods here. Taking mineral-rich foods like seaweeds, because key minerals, say zinc and magnesium, are extremely important for a strong functioning immune system. So cancer is the future, really. It's taken over heart disease as the #1 cause of death in the industrialized world now, and the prognosis is for more and more of it. So it's a very big challenge for the future.
But, and what you're saying really through, I guess, through healthy eating and obviously avoiding things like smoking, I guess we have trouble with our environment and where we live. We would have to be careful about where we live, but you know, a lot of this is avoidable, and we can sort of improve our immune system to strengthen ourselves from not getting cancer.
That's right. If we think that we can't always choose where we live, our job may be there, we got a family, and we can't just pack up and leave because we don't like the air pollution. So sometimes people are just forced to live someplace because that's where their work is. But we can choose the food we eat. And every body has a certain detox capacity. And the key is to live within your limits, to understand that the body has a limited detox capacity. If we can keep our detox so good that it can take care of any of the toxins, poisons around us, then we'll live in harmony, even though we may be around some things that are not so healthy. But the problem today is we have so many of these things adding up, so people are being exposed to many more environmental toxins. At the same time, they're eating foods that also contain the toxins and, above all, undermine the immune system. So we make conscious decisions about living, about, let's say, if I'm going to have formaldehyde in my house, or if I'm going to have a formaldehyde-free living space. Because formaldehyde is in a lot of synthetic things, like the glue they put under carpets, foam rubber mattresses. These things outgas formaldehyde, and it's very toxic. So, you know, if you do have those things, you have to keep your windows open. And in the cold time of the year, we prefer to shut things up. There are all these things to think about, but what we can always do is say, I'm going to eat this, and I'm going to eat that. I'll eat brown rice, I'm not going to eat white rice. I'm going to eat vegetables, both steamed, fried, baked, but I'm not going to just take some kind of ready-made mix thing off the shelf of a supermarket. I'm going to start with the major ingredients. I'm going to take both animal and plant protein, because if I eat only animal protein, I'll get very acidic and make my tissue really very susceptible to cancer. I'll eat seaweed, put it in soups and stews, because I know that that's giving me the minerals, magnesium, zinc, and others that are necessary for a strong immune system. And then we can really stay healthy, even in a rather polluted environment.